Let's get more legal perspectives to the development in Rivers State. Joining me is Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Babatunde Ogala. Thanks for joining us on the news at 7. I'm sure you're following closely reactions following Mr. President's decision. The loudest of it has been that it's illegal and unconstitutional. You've heard from the NBA itself categorically making that loud and clear. They said there is no provision in the 1999 Constitution for a sitting president to suspend a democratically elected officer. How do you react to this?
Thank you very much. I read the NBA statement, and like you know, I'm a member of NEC. In my opinion, I think NBA perhaps should have tarried a while before speaking out. But I will just wish to observe, as a legal practitioner, that this is, when you declare a state of emergency, it is unusual times. And nowhere did the president in his speech say he has removed the the governor of Rivers State. He used the word suspended. And in bringing an administrator, when you declare a state of emergency, because Section 305, that we all quote gleefully, gives the president the latitude that even in his proclamation and the notice is going to send to the National Assembly, he will state the terms of the state of emergency. Has he done so? Yes. Has the National Assembly approved? No. So let us wait for the National Assembly to say, no, you cannot suspend. Those are his terms of the state of emergency. Because the state of emergency is not just a blanket thing. He could declare a state of emergency and say, we'll retain all structures. He could declare a state of emergency and say, maybe it's the legislative arm we are suspending. It is on terms. And what he has said, he has recommended in his proclamation that the governor should be suspended along with the deputy and the House of Assembly. And let us also not forget, the president in his broadcast gave us some historical background. Perhaps, maybe many of us have forgotten. And I'm also not unconscious of the fact that a lot of commentators on this issue have not even read the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court had consolidated about 8 different appeals. And the key thing, the Supreme Court said, this is the highest court of the land. They had said the governor was, behaving like a despot, that governors had seized in the state. The court said so. The court made allusion to the demolition of the House of Assembly, how the House has been scuttled, how he was running the state without that other structure for governance.
All right.
So in conscience, can we really say there was a democratic government in Rivers without a House of Assembly?
Senator Advocate,
can we really say there was a government?
Allow me to jump in quickly. Mr. President has now gone ahead to swear in a sole administrator for Rivers State. Some commentators say that's rather hasty, considering the provision of the section you quoted, 305, that requires the National Assembly, two-thirds of the National Assembly, to either ratify or veto Mr. President. Do you think it's bounded by law to await their decision?
No, not so. In fact, if I might read, what the law says is the National Assembly could either ratify the action, they could modify, or they could reject. So if the National Assembly says, Mr. President, you are wrong, we do not agree with you, this does the two-thirds majority of the National Assembly that he needs. And as I yesterday, he said they had published the Gazette. He has forwarded it. The National Assembly has 2 days. But there could be no vacuum. So if the National Assembly comes back in 2 days, if it is in session, but if not in session, within 10 days, and says, Mr. President, we don't agree with you, we go back to status quo. But pending that, there could be no vacuum. Because the first step, because the Constitution prescribes, is the proclamation, so that the President first takes action and goes for ratification. But if his action is not ratified, then return to status quo. He did not say he must seek the consent of the National Assembly before proclamation. Proclamation comes first. He has to declare first before going to the National Assembly. And he has so declared in compliance with the Constitution and is now gone as a further step to the National Assembly. But if the Constitution has said you must first obtain the consent of the National Assembly before you declare, it's a different thing.
As we speak now, yes, as we speak now, both the legislature and the executive have been suspended in Rivers State, leaving only the judiciary. Mr. President said, did say that the administrator cannot make new laws, but can make certain, I'm not sure exactly what they use now, regulations, yes. And that this will now be subject to approval by the Federal Executive Council. Some say the FEC has no responsibility in this regard according to law, that responsibility, on the contrary, belongs to the National Assembly.
Look, the President, I've just referred you to Section 305 of the Constitution, which says the President will set out the terms. It is going to the National Assembly tomorrow. He has said the administrator cannot make new laws, rightly so. But you can issue executive orders and regulations. He can issue directives. So why are we playing with semantics here? So if he now does so, he comes back to the President and FEC for approval. These are the terms that the President has prescribed. If the National Assembly does not agree, it could reject them, it could amend it, and if he accepts it, so be it. Nothing thus far has been done that is not in accordance with the Constitution. Nothing.
As senior advocate, what do you see happen in the next 6 months? Do you see a return of Governor Fubara as substantive governor of the state?
Oh, yes, I see him returning. I mean, look, the threat was even impeachment that led to all the unnecessary tension, threats being issued, pipelines being blown. The governor himself, I mean, and I said it with all sense of responsibility. The governor himself made some errors, especially in his pronouncement after the Supreme Court judgment, when he said, you did speak up, we will tell you what to do at the appropriate time. And you say that, then the next thing, bombs and pipelines are being blown. The governor did not utter a word. He did not say, call for calm. He did not, the president said, he did not deem it fit to even call him. He did not utter a word. So that means when the threats were being issued, if he's impeached, oh, we will blow this, we will blow that, you did not even disassociate yourself. You did not warn again. Look, I was so impressed with him, with the governor now. When I read the statement he issued yesterday, I was impressed. But that is what he ought to have done.
Good place to leave it.
Much earlier.
Senior advocate, interesting days ahead. But I'm afraid we have to go now. Senior advocate of Nigeria, Ogala, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the news tonight.
Thank you very much.